Hello and welcome to the TriathlonDan YouTube channel. You're watching this video because you want to know if the Garmin Fenix 7 Solar is worth the money, so let's get straight into it. So firstly, Garmin sent this watch out to me completely of their own accord. There was no fraud involved whatsoever. So that means that I'm not obligated to say anything specific. I don't have to run this video past them. It also probably means that this is the last video I will ever do with a Garmin product that they've sent me, so strap in, it's going to be a good one. I mean, they've not even told me how to say it. Fenix? Phoenix? Who knows? Now I know that other channels have done a great job of diving into the real detailed tech specs, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try and focus on the user experience, what's important to me to try and ascertain whether this product is worth the money or not. Just bear in mind that I am an amateur at best triathlete, so that's why the things I'm going to talk about are the priorities as I see them. So this model sits in the middle of the range, below the Sapphire Solar, but above the standard model. The differences include different size bezels, different battery life, different features, etc. So when unboxing the product, not many people pay lots of attention to the packaging. I think it is worthwhile noting, but you do quickly just cast it to one side and focus on the product, don't you? When I'm opening the box, it feels quality, it oozes quality. It's a nice sleek grey colour, it's very well put together. There's nothing too complicated in there, it's just a box with a product in, isn't it? It's packaged well, and it really does, ooze that quality appeal. So in the box is the watch, there is a charging cable, there's an information booklet, which nobody ever reads with the instructions in, or I don't read them anyway. Please let me know if you do. Weirdos. And you can probably tell I unboxed this watch a few days ago and have been using it, so you just watched me do a fake unboxing. So as I said, the dial is a 47mm diameter. It's a really nice size actually. I know this depends how big your wrists are, but for me it does fit me well. There's a stainless steel bezel, and I think it just looks a bit rugged, doesn't it? It looks like you could bash it around a bit and it'd be okay. It doesn't look like it's too frail. It is thermal proofed, shock proofed and waterproof until 100 meters depth, which I'm not going to test, but I think it basically is just a watch that's made to withstand the conditions that you can withstand. The strap is silicone, it's nice and flexible, it still feels reasonably strong. When I've sweated in it, it doesn't cause me any sores or itchiness or anything like that. It just feels really comfy. The holes are really small spaced apart as well, so that means that the tightness adjustments are really incremental, so if you get that real good fit. So as I said, I'm not an instruction reader. The startup and setup of the watch was really straightforward. Even for myself, I'm not a tech expert by any means. The watch talks you through step by step, setting up the units of measurement, what screens you want on, what sports you use, all those sorts of things. It was really easy to follow. You do it all on the watch as well. You can change some settings on the app, but the majority of it you do on the watch, so you don't actually need a smartphone as well to set it up. One thing I did find a bit alien to me is this watch is touchscreen as well as buttons. I've only used button watches in the past, so being able to use the touchscreen, I wouldn't naturally go towards it to use it, but then having to force myself to use it, it's really easy to use. The touchscreen works like your phone touchscreen does. It's not like touchscreens are a few years ago where you have to really jam on it to make it work. It's sensitive, it moves around as you'd like it to, and it seems to work really well. So in practice, I'm going to deal with running first. When you go outside, turn the watch on, it finds satellites almost immediately. I've not been stood there. Remember when you used to have to wave your arm around, stood there for ages waiting for satellites? It's just not the case anymore. It's absolutely brilliant. It finds satellites really, really quickly. And then into the run session. So I use a lot of running sessions from Training Peaks. So that Training Peaks session goes straight to my Garmin because I linked Training Peaks to Garmin Connect. When it comes up with your run for the day, it'll say, this is your suggested workout. Would you like to do it or not? So you've still got the option to, okay, do I want to do that session or not? If you do, it lets you follow the session. So if you've got a complex interval workout, you're not going to lose track of how many you've done or how long you've got left, all those sorts of things, because it's all on the screen. It tells you whether you're running too fast, too slow, which is the most common for me, what your heart rate is. You can change all those data screens, but the standard screens seem to give you the right amount of information, lap pace, lap split, time remaining, heart rate, all those sorts of things is really well set up. On to swimming. The actual user operation is very similar to previous generation Garmin. So just start, then press the lap button and it starts your rest timer going, lap button again and you're on your way again, and then stop when you finish your session. And my swimming is erratic at best, and it didn't lose a single length when I did a session the other night, so if it can keep track of my stroke, I'm sure it can keep track of yours. I also noticed when I went for a swim that the wrist-based heart rate monitor works whilst you're swimming as well, and there was actually no dead spots. I looked at my running sessions as well. There are no massive spikes or no dead spots in the heart rate monitoring. The heart rate sensor is Garmin's 4th generation of heart rate sensor, and it seems like they're actually nailing it. I haven't shaved my wrist or I don't wet it before I do it or anything. It just seems to work, and it works that well that I don't think I'm going to wear a chest strap or an arm strap again, because the wrist-based heart rate seems to keep a very accurate track of my heart rate, and that's all I need. Now there's a couple of features that are new to me on this watch that I'm absolutely sure I am going to use. The first one, not particularly training related, but Spotify. So I can have Spotify on my watch, play straight to my wireless earphones, and I don't need to take my mobile phone with me on a run. My phone is quite large, as a lot of smartphones are nowadays, and that means that I have to take like this really awkward looking like bum bag thing, which does a good job of keeping my stomach in check, but doesn't really serve any purpose other than that, and I forget it and it gets sweaty and so on. So now that I can leave my phone at home and just run with my watch and my earphones, it is so much better. Another feature that's going to be useful to me is having built-in maps on the watch. So I live in Derbyshire in the Peak District, and we do a fair bit of trail running, both events and training. Being able to put a GPX route onto the watch and follow it on the watch is brilliant. I've done a couple of like off-road runs recently, and I've downloaded a GPX, took a bike computer with me and my watch, and those are just two devices doing what could be the same job, which is the same job on the Fenix. So to be able to get rid of the bike computer and not have to carry that is a big plus for me. So in the last few years, battery technology has come on so much, hasn't it? And this watch is no exception. The official stats are that in smartwatch mode, I've tried that to say it several times, it will last for 18 days, plus 4 days if you're using the solar charge function. And then, and this sounds completely ludicrous saying it, it will last for 57 hours in GPS mode with an additional 16 hours if you're using the solar charge function. There are no activities on this green earth that I plan to do that will last that period of time. So you might think, oh, that's of no benefit to me. Actually, what that means is if you're using this watch for a casual watch or for a training watch, you're not having to remember to charge it all the time. It's not a daily job. It's not a bi-daily job. It's a every fortnight job, every 10 days job, depending on how much you're training. And in practice, what that means is if you've forgotten to charge it for a while, let's say you go for a run, it's got 10% left, you're probably going to be able to get through that run without having to worry about charging. And we all know that if it's not on Strava, it doesn't count, so that's really important. There are some functions that I think sound good and I might use, but I wouldn't be able to sit here and absolutely say these are going to change my life. These include Garmin Pay, sleep tracking, blood pulse oximetry, live tracking, incident reporting, those sorts of things. Sure, I've read up on them, they sound great, but I haven't yet used them. I'm going to try to, and over the next few weeks, document how I use them and if they are a benefit, but I'm just not quite sure. I think it's because I've been using my previous Garmin watch was a 920 XT, and that's a few years old now. Because this is such a leap ahead, I've missed that progression, so maybe I need to get up to date. And then there are some other features which I'm pretty sure I wouldn't use, but again, I'm going to try and give it a go. There's a body battery function, a race pace partner, stamina predictor, and some other things. I'm going to give them a go, but I just don't think they reach out to me as, oh, that is a real selling point for the watch for me. In addition to all those points, I think it's really important just how the watch looks, how it feels, whether you wear it without it irritating you, whether you think it looks smart for a casual environment. If I'm trying to justify the cost of this sort of watch to myself, I'll be thinking about how often am I going to use it? Am I going to be wearing it every day, 24 hours a day? If so, I might spend a little bit more on one. Looking at the watch, I would wear this. I'm fairly comfortable in 99% of social situations, at work, training and so on. Now, I'm no fashion guru and I don't get invited to many posh dinners and things, so that might not be the thing for you, but I think it's okay. It doesn't scream, I'm a triathlete, talk to me about sport, I don't think, but I am. But you can tell it is a little bit sporty, so I think it strikes a good balance. So do I think it is worth the money? It's the title of the video. I've got to give you some sort of answer. Well, it does depend. However, if you were to push me for an answer, I think I would say yes. For me, because I would wear it so much, I think I would justify it. I would also consider, if you live in the UK like I do, there's not a great deal of sunlight at the minute. If you're training early morning, late evening, or if you're training indoors quite a lot, if the solar element isn't a massive benefit to you, consider not having the solar option. It takes quite a bit of money off of the price, makes it a bit more affordable, and that might bridge the gap between what you think is too much for a watch and what is enough, particularly because the battery is very good without the solar function anyway. I'll also try and think about how many years I'm going to use this product for. I'd be interested to hear about your user experiences. Have you got a Fenix 4, 5, 6 and so on? If so, how long have you had it? Will you be making the upgrade or will you not? To me, this is the sort of thing that it's got to last a couple of years, hasn't it? For the sort of cost you're going to invest in it. My 920 XT that I bought in 2015 for about £300 is probably worth £40–50 now, but I've used it for nearly 6 years, so I will justify it that way, I think. So if there's anything in particular you'd like me to test, please do let me know down below. I'm going to try and do like a month in or so review of how I'm settling, how I'm getting used to it, and all the things I've discovered about that I like and don't like about the watch. And Garmin, if you're watching this, I've moved house, okay? So thank you very much for watching. Please hit subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you tomorrow at 4 PM.